Nature takes center stage in The Lord of the Rings. The Rings of Power as some of Tolkien's most iconic creatures. The Ents return in Season 2. In the episode titled Eldest Arondir Ismael Cruz, Cordova, Isildur Maxim Baldry, and Estrid Nia Tal find themselves in an intense encounter with these ancient tree-like beings. This encounter begins when Theo Tyro Muhafidin is kidnapped by an Ent, only for the situation to de-escalate thanks to Arondir's diplomatic skills. Seeing the Ents again in live action, albeit with some changes in appearance, is a nostalgic delight for fans. But why are these peaceful, slow-moving guardians so angry? Ents are some of the oldest creatures in Middle-earth, and they were created for one purpose, to protect the trees. They are known as tree herders, charged with safeguarding the forests from harm. Ents are deeply connected to nature and embody a profound respect and love for the natural world. This connection was established in Tolkien's mythology through Yavanna, the Vala responsible for nature. She foresaw that trees and plants would need guardians to protect them from the children of Ilúvatar, elves and men, who could potentially harm them. So, the Ents were born representing the personification of nature's defense against destruction. Elves were the ones to first teach Ents language, establishing a deep bond between the two races. In the Rings of Power, Arondir's ability to calm the Ents reflects this ancient connection. Ents are typically slow to action, much like the trees they resemble, but their patience has limits. When provoked, they are immensely powerful beings capable of wreaking havoc on those who threaten their forests. Physically, Ents are enormous, standing at least 12 feet tall. They bear a striking resemblance to the trees they protect. Some look like oaks, while others resemble birches or firs. Their bodies are reminiscent of tree trunks, and their movements, slow and deliberate, evoke the steady growth of trees. Despite their tree-like appearance, they are intelligent beings, with deep, expressive eyes reflecting their wisdom and ancient age. They can be gentle protectors or fierce defenders of the natural world as we see in the Rings of Power. The Ents in the Rings of Power are deeply angered, and their fury is well justified. Their very existence symbolizes the fragile relationship between humankind and nature. In Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, Treebeard voiced by John Rhys, Davies makes it clear that the Ents have a long-standing awareness of the damage inflicted on the natural world by the actions of other beings. In the Rings of Power, we meet two new Ents, Snaggleroot Jim Broadbent and Winterbloom Olivia Williams, who are just as engaged in defending nature as their predecessors. Snaggleroot and Winterbloom travelled to Pelargir to protect the trees of that region, as they were drawn by the destruction brought about by the conflicts between orcs, elves, and Númenóreans. The Southlands had recently been transformed into Mordor, and the resulting chaos had taken a toll on the trees, which are often the first casualties of war. Snaggleroot and Winterbloom express their anger, with Snaggleroot lamenting that the spilling sap and burning branch called to us from afar. Winterbloom has a personal connection to the destruction, as the trees felled by the orcs had been nourished by her. This heightens the Ents' rage, turning them into fierce protectors of what remains of their beloved forest. However, thanks to Arondir's diplomatic approach and his promise to cut down no more trees, the Ents are pacified. They release Theo and move on, but their fury serves as a powerful reminder of the price nature pays in times of war. In Tolkien's world, Ents are much more than simply guardians of the forest. They are a living metaphor for the relationship between humankind and nature. Their protective nature is rooted in a deep understanding of the destruction wrought by civilizations that prioritize war and industry over harmony with the natural world. The Ents' rage in the Rings of Power reflects the ongoing struggle between the forces of nature and the relentless expansion of humankind, as seen in the destruction of the Southlands to create Mordor. This is a recurring theme in Tolkien's work, and the Ents' sorrowful yet powerful defense of nature is a poignant reminder of the consequences of unchecked destruction. Just as in the Two Towers, where Treebeard mourned the damage Saruman caused to Fangorn Forest, the Ents of the Rings of Power represent the age-old struggle to preserve the natural world in the face of industrialization and war. One of the first things fans will notice is how different Snaggleroot and Winterbloom appear from Treebeard and the other Ents in the Two Towers. They speak faster, move more quickly, and their anger is far more apparent. Their eyes are also different, with Snaggleroot and Winterbloom having chameleon-like hollow eyes, unlike Treebeard's more human-like eyes. These differences likely stem from the fact that the Rings of Power and the Lord of the Rings film trilogy were created by different teams. However, there's more to this change than just creative decisions. It also reflects the time period in which the show is set. The series takes place in the Second Age of Middle-earth, millennia before the events of the Lord of the Rings. This means that the Ents we see in the Rings of Power are younger. Their faster speech and more active demeanor could be attributed to this youthfulness. Over the ages, the Ents gradually become slower and more deliberate, as Treebeard mentions in The Two Towers. By the time of the War of the Ring, many Ents have gone tree-ish, becoming more tree-like and less active. Another significant detail in the Rings of Power is the introduction of Winterbloom, an Entwife. This is a crucial difference from the Ents in The Two Towers, where Treebeard speaks of the Entwives as having disappeared, leading to the near extinction of the Ent race. The Entwives were responsible for nourishing young trees and fostering new growth, which explains why no new Enting's young Ents have appeared since their disappearance. Winterbloom's presence in the Rings of Power hints at a time before the Entwives vanished, adding a layer of tragedy to their story. As the series progresses, we may learn more about the fate of the Entwives and the dwindling number of Ents in Middle-earth. This also underscores the sense of loss that permeates Tolkien's mythology, as ancient beings like the Ents face the slow decline of their kind while the world around them changes. The return of the Ents in the Rings of Power serves not only as a nostalgic callback to Tolkien's beloved creatures, but also as a reminder of the environmental themes that run throughout his work. As protectors of the forest, the Ents stand as symbols of the natural world's resistance to destruction. Their anger in Season 2 reflects the ongoing battle between nature and the forces of industrialization, a conflict that has existed throughout Middle-earth's history and continues to resonate in our own world today. Snaggleroot and Winterbloom's appearance in the Rings of Power adds a new dimension to the Ent story. Their quicker movements and speech reflect their younger age, while Winterbloom's role as an Entwife highlights the tragic fate of the Ents in later ages. As war looms over Middle-earth, the Ents will likely continue to play a vital role in defending the natural world, even as their numbers dwindle. In conclusion, the Ents' appearance in the Rings of Power serves as a powerful reminder of the cost of war and industrialization on the natural world. Their fury in Season 2 is justified, as the destruction of the Southlands brings untold harm to the forests they protect. Whether or not the Ents will survive the coming conflicts remains to be seen, but their presence in the series is a testament to the enduring power of nature in Tolkien's world.